So, throughout my life, I've never really considered myself too much of a risk taker. I've mostly just kind of fallen into line with what I feel like is safe and what is right. Like, my anxiety, for the most part, is limited, most exploration or risk taking. But I've recently been watching lots of YouTube over the last year, and there's been certain channels such as Yes Theory or an exploring channel called Nightscape that have really influenced my thought and the way I think about things. So on that line, we were thinking, okay, let's just say screw it and go down to Chicago for New Year's Eve. It was me, maybe my brother, and then maybe 3 or 4 other friends. And we really weren't doing very much because we kind of went down on a whim and we're like, all right, what are we going to do? It was really cold. The wind was whipping at us. We tried to get to Navy Pier, but there was probably about 100 people waiting in line, 100 to 1,000 people waiting with no hope of us getting in, as we really didn't. We really poorly planned it, and we showed up at like 10 o'clock. So from there, we're stuck in Chicago, and it's cold, it's windy. We try to get pizza and then bail because it costs $5, and that's too much for one of our friends. So at this point, we go to our last resort. We're sitting in a Dunkin' Donuts with pretty crappy food on New Year's Eve thinking, man, this is what it's gotten us. This is where we've just headed, just being completely normal, not taking any risks. We just kind of followed along, just went with the wind. But with my last attempt, or our last attempt, we said, okay, how about let's try to hit a rooftop, see the fireworks, and have a memorable experience. Let's see if we can do that. It's a long shot, but let's see if it can happen. We, from the Palmer House, or from the Dunkin' Donuts, it's like a block and a half to a hotel called the Palmer House. And as we walk in there, we immediately knew we were completely out of our depth. There was people, men in tuxes, women in dresses. It's just alcohol and fancy food being served everywhere. And meanwhile, we walk in, I'm wearing my Adidas joggers, some gym shoes. Well, my friend says ripped track pants or whatever. And it's the hotel was so lavish. Imagine you're walking in to your rich grandparents' house, if you have any, and you just see all these paintings and exquisite sculptures around. And I felt pretty intimidated, but this was the time. We had no time left. Any other plans? We said we have to go for this. So we make it up. Quick word of advice to the Palmer House mostly. Their elevators had this car key system where you have to put the key to swipe the key, and then it will like allow you to go to a certain floor. That problem was easily overlooked by one of my genius friends who said, how about we don't swipe the key and just press the button? And it literally just went up. So Palmer House, you kind of messed up there. That was kind of a problem. So we go all the way up to like 2 or 3 floors below the roof, and we're exploring around and we're like stealthing it. There's paintings on the wall. The carpet's really beautiful. It's like there's king mold. But we have to be completely quiet because I don't know why. We probably could have just talked like normal people and said we were the Stein family if anyone questioned us because we're a bunch of Jews. So basically we went up 4 floors and we hit the roof just before it. And it says, do not enter. Rooftop access. Alarm will sound. And they're thinking, oh crap. This is where it could all end. We don't have any other options. Like, what are we going to do if the alarm sounds? Like, are we brave enough to make it all the way up here? It took us about maybe 10 minutes of just like double checking ourselves, and we're like, will they know if there's DNA on the door? Will they be able to find us if we do? And eventually, I figured that there was a way out if the alarm did go off, and the risk versus the reward was just too high. So once I pushed open that door, it clicked open. Not a sound. No alarm, no nothing. And there we were on the rooftop overlooking the lake. And at that moment, it's completely speechless, as the sight is just breathtaking of the city, all the lights. Then there were the fireworks over the lake, people just singing Happy New Year and all that great stuff. It was a really memorable experience that would have never happened. We would have been sitting at the Dunkin' Donuts around the street watching the fireworks if we didn't have any will to improve or any will to push ourselves beyond our limit. Yeah. And there were no side effects or repercussions. And also, Palmer House, really, you guys got to change it up a little bit. It was pretty easy for a bunch of teenagers to walk in and get on the roof.